Okay, this is video number 6 of 2025. And in previous videos, we went through several different things on finances, so I kind of want to review that and also talk about a small thing that can throw you off track of your financial plan and where you want to get to financially. So let's go over some of what we went over in previous videos. We started with philosophy. We started with those core philosophies that you're taught when you're growing up all the way through adulthood by your parents, teachers, maybe coaches, maybe a preacher or youth minister, folks like that that help you to form your core philosophies and belief systems. Then we talked about taking that to your personal finances and developing a personal finance philosophy and utilizing those core philosophies that you were taught to keep you on track and to keep you going throughout the process of your financial journey. Then, with that personal finance philosophy, I gave you some book suggestions. And in some of those books, you're able to go through a step-by-step plan to get from where you're at financially all the way up to the point of building wealth. And then lastly, we talked about building wealth and specifically utilizing paper assets and utilizing a total stock market index fund. And so we went through all of those steps. But now I want to give you some tidbits, some things to look out for to keep you from going off track with your financial plan. And what I would start with is to ask you this question. What is your priority? Is it flexing or is it freedom? I would suggest that it be freedom. But there is this push to flex. We now have social media. And the tough part with social media is that people get onto social media, and I call it the highlight reel. And the reason that I call it that is people are presenting the highest points in their lives. They're presenting when they buy a brand new car, or when they move into an expensive new home, or they go on an extravagant vacation. You're not seeing the difficulties or the other side of that, the financial struggles that may be coming in due to them overextending themselves. And so as we compare ourselves to that, because it seems like everyone's doing so well, we get caught up in that, and we get caught up in flexing and trying to keep up with the Joneses, which causes us a lot of financial difficulty. And here's the rub. Here's the tough part. We're in an economy now to where if you see things going up and you feel like it's harder to make ends meet now, you're not crazy. There's been a lot of inflation. In fact, recently during the pandemic, a lot of money was printed, stimulus checks were sent out, which caused over time inflation to go up. And so the prices of goods and things, cars, homes, and things like that have gone way up, yet wages have not kept up with that. Wages have only increased a bit. And so the middle class especially is feeling the squeeze of this situation. And so this is a reality. So if you're dealing with these price challenges and you're trying to flex, it truly creates a stressful financial situation. Let me tell you just a little stat out there. With cars, the average cost of a vehicle now here in the U.S. is $47,000. That's crazy. Many folks, that equals unaffordable, okay? Yet, there are a lot of folks going out there and getting these loans, these very, very expensive cars. Here in Texas, trucks are really popular. And there are some folks going out there getting a truck that is $80,000 to $100,000. And these car payments are $1,000 car payments. I say that, what are we doing with those types of car payments? And so there is this tendency to want to flex, and we see these things around us, and this flexing causes a high amount of financial stress. To tell you a little bit about me, I drive a Honda Civic. It's a 97 Honda Civic. It has 294,000 miles on it, so almost 295,000 miles. I could not sell the vehicle for more than $2,000. And it's a very affordable and a very reliable vehicle for me. So I know that there are affordable and reliable vehicles out there. There's affordable vehicles like a good quality used Toyota Corolla, or a good quality used Honda Civic, or good quality used Crown Victoria. There are those types of cars out there, but they're not flex vehicles. Let's use the Crown Victoria as an example. These Crown Victorias were used as cabs. They're also used as police cars because they're basically bulletproof. Now, if you were to buy a quality used Crown Victoria and it has that police light on it on the side, hey, it's not going to be necessarily a flexing kind of vehicle. You know, I say with my Honda Civic, you know, I don't go around telling people, hey, come take a look at my 97 Honda Civic with 294 plus thousand miles on it. It's the same thing. If you purchase a Crown Victoria, I think you can probably get it anywhere from, with that, it depends on what the mileage is, but I bet you could get a Crown Victoria anywhere from $5,000 to at the higher end, maybe $12,000 to $15,000. So a very affordable, reliable car. Plus the parts are readily available, so you can get them just about anywhere, and the parts are very affordable. Another little tip. We are in this gig economy now, where people on jobs are doing extra things. They're actually doing things like they're doing side hustles and things like that, driving Uber, actually delivering Uber Eats, or doing things like selling on Amazon and eBay and things like that. So there are mechanics who work maybe at a dealership or somewhere else that are on the side taking side projects. So you could have a car like a Crown Victoria. They're very easy to work on. And if you get a driveway mechanic or a curbside mechanic that works on cars, maybe even at their own home, you can get some services done on a car like a Crown Victoria, and it would be very, very affordable and very, very reliable for you. And then you're not dealing with the financial stress of having an $80,000 to $100,000 truck where you're making $1,000 a month car payment on. Crazy. Don't do that to yourself. That is flexing rather than having financial peace and freedom. Okay? Let me throw some statistics in here. There is a statistic that 4 in 10 Americans experience moderate to severe stress over their finances. That's not a good statistic. And like I mentioned earlier, yes, we have some financial challenges going on here in the U.S., even though here in the U.S. we've done better than all of the developed world with the inflation, bringing inflation under control. But it's still, the prices are high enough to where, again, the middle class and everyone really feels it. They feel the squeeze. But we can take what we can control. We don't have to buy a $47,000 or these crazy amounts, $80,000 to $100,000 car, and have these $1,000 car payments. We can control that. Another statistic is, I was just looking at weddings, the cost of, I was just kind of curious, what does a wedding cost now? The average cost of a wedding, $33,000, okay? And there's another statistic, 40% of marriages end due to financial problems. And often it's that the couple isn't on the same page financially. So these are some serious challenges that are caused, I think, sometimes by overextending yourself. Use the example of the $33,000 wedding. If a couple spends $33,000, when the groom is carrying that wife, that bride rather, across the threshold into the home, and they're carrying that $33,000 worth of debt maybe that they've caused for themselves, they're bringing stress into that home and stress into that marriage that may culminate in that marriage ending due to that. They flexed the wedding and they took away the freedom that they would have to build a good, strong marriage because financial stress was introduced. And so these are some things to think about. What is it that is important to you? Is it looking good, or is it actually being good financially? I also think about the Bible. One of the wisest men in the Bible, or it's arguably the wisest man to have his story in the Bible, is King Solomon. And as it goes, King Solomon had a dream where God spoke to him in the dream. And God told him, I will give you whatever it is that you desire. And what Solomon asked for was wisdom. He could have asked for many different things, but he asked for wisdom. And so that's what I would tell you to ask for. Look for good counsel and wisdom. Wisdom is to work towards financial freedom. It is folly to flex and to put yourself into financial stress. Another stat here. The average home now is north of $400,000. That is a lot of money. There are mortgages that are in the $3,000 a month range. If you look at your income, $3,000 a month, 3 times 4 is around $12,000 that you really need to be making per month for a $3,000 a month house payment to be affordable. Yet there are some people who are taking their gross income and bumping that house payment up to close to 50% of their gross income monthly. That equals financial stress. And if you have a big amount of financial stress, it's going to take your freedom completely away. You are not going to have the freedom in your mind, and you're not going to also have the freedom to get your finances in order and to build wealth in the future, let alone even think about building wealth in the future because you're so financially stressed right now. So flexing takes away freedom. Look for the wisdom of freedom, the wisdom that builds your wealth over time. Okay? It's easy to get caught into flexing, but you just don't want to do that. You want to put yourself in a better position by going step by step, doing the things that we talked about in this video, in the previous videos rather, and to continue to go on the road to building wealth. Think in terms of building assets. And as you build your assets, we talked about paper assets. As you're investing in what J.L. Collins recommends in The Simple Path to Wealth, you're investing in total stock market index fund or other index funds, and you build wealth over time, then the dividends, what your income, what your assets rather earn, you can then spend that money on liabilities, if you still want to at that time. Because there's nothing wrong with having a nice car, or there's nothing wrong with having a nice home. It's just better if your assets are paying for it for that, especially those things that are depreciating in value like cars, rather than taking away your ability to build your wealth. So tip number 1, be careful not to let the flex take away your freedom. Choose the path of wisdom and ask for wisdom like Solomon did. Seek wisdom. Seek things like these videos in order to keep you on track, to keep your mind straight, to keep you moving in the direction of getting control of your finances and building wealth into the future. Thanks again for listening.